Ever felt the thrill of just effortlessly strumming on a guitar, creating these beautiful melodies that just captivate the soul?
Yeah, me neither. But today that's all about to change because today is day one on my 30-day guitar learning challenge. And I have no idea how to play guitar. I have no idea how to play any sort of instrument really, but as you'll probably agree with me, I started practicing and it seems I might be a natural.
No, I'm messing it up. But Redemption Song is what I'm trying to play.
So yeah, I have a long way to go if I want to get as good as I want to get at playing guitar. And that's why I'm going to commit to doing 1 hour of practice every day for 30 days, no matter what. I'm not allowed to skip days, not even to like double up the next day and do double the amount of practice. That's the commitment that I'm making. And I'm really excited to see where I'll be at the end of these 30 days. Will I become the next Ed Sheeran? Well, I sure hope not, because he sucks at guitar.
I'm not like the world's best guitar player, but there'll be I'm viewed as like not a great guitarist. There'll be guitar people around the world being like, what's he doing murdering this song?
Well, don't worry about that, Ed. With my help, I bet you'll be able to get there in no time. So there's a bit more to the story of this video than meets the eye. For the past year I've been feeling extremely lost, and it all just started with me realizing that the goals that I'd almost been blindly pursuing had led me somewhere that once I looked up and had a look around, I saw that this wasn't really where I wanted to end up. So I started questioning what I actually wanted, and I didn't realize it at the time, but that question was like pulling the plug in a tub full of water for me. Since then, I've just slowly gotten closer and closer to that drain, with no real ideas for how to put the plug back in or how to start filling it back up. If you've been following me on Instagram, I wouldn't blame you if you've thought that I've lost the plot a little bit lately.
That's so cool.
As you've seen me randomly decide to spend 12 hours sewing myself a pirate shirt without ever having sewn clothing before in my life. Or you've seen me aimlessly wander around in the snow looking for foxes and mooses, or out in the pouring rain with a rain jacket on, but for some reason choosing not to pull the hood up. Or posting videos of me fixing my sailboat that I bought without knowing how to sail. And now, guitar.
So throughout the past year, I've been hyper focused on trying to figure out what I want. The more I've tried to figure that out, it's almost like the further away from the answer I've gotten. And a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a friend where they basically suggested that maybe I'm putting too much pressure on finding like the goal or the thing to pursue. And I think that's exactly it, because the fear for me has been to set or to accidentally set a goal where the pursuit of that goal doesn't align with how I want to have spent my life.
And so my hypothesis then was that to crawl out of this pit of endless questioning that I was digging for myself, I just need to start setting goals. Like hammering steps into the wall of that pit, each goal might get me closer to the surface.
And the thing is that I've had this guitar just sitting like in the corner of this room, my living room, for probably 6 months now, and I haven't touched it, like not even put my pinky on it. I literally haven't touched it for the entire time. But then the other day, for whatever reason, and I don't really know why, I just decided to pick it up and started playing. And then literally the day after was the day that I decided to make this video.
So how do you actually go about learning guitar? Well, here's how I was thinking. I've figured that there's about 3 parts to playing guitar, and the first part is strumming, and the second part is finger picking, and the third part is the fretboard hand. So what I'm doing now, basically the structure that I have every day, is I'm trying to practice those 3 things, and just that's about it. That's all the structure that I have, to be honest.
Okay, so first of all, I have absolutely no connection to this instrument at all, other than it would be kind of cool to know how to play. So as new agey or kindergarten-y as this sounds, my first priority when it came to playing guitar was just to make sure that I had fun. And this is because I wanted to start associating playing the instrument or playing guitar with having fun. And I was thinking about it a little bit like I'm trying to actively develop an addiction. So in the beginning, there should be like no downsides. It should be all fun. And if I like playing a certain riff, then play that riff. And no, this is definitely not the optimal way in the short term to learn guitar as fast as possible. I think it will be smart in the long run because even the most boring exercises that I'll find will still not be as boring as they would have been had I not started playing guitar or having fun with playing guitar at the start.
Alright, so I found this exercise that I'm gonna try doing, which I pretty much can't do at all. You hold all the fingers, you clamp all the fingers down on the fretboard in those positions, and then you move the pinky or the pointer finger first down to the other one, then you move the middle finger, then you move the ring finger, which is my ring finger basically doesn't move on its own. It's very difficult for me to move that finger. I think this is a good exercise because I've pinpointed a weakness. That probably means I should practice that, I guess. Now, remember what I said about trying to actively develop an addiction to the guitar? Well, it worked. Maybe even a bit too well.
Okay, so now, before you judge me, just wait, okay? Don't judge me yet. Alright, now you can judge me. So, at least both of these ones are secondhand. I'm gonna say that's the first thing. But this is a nylon string guitar, classical guitar. It sounds a little bit different from the steel ones, so I kind of like it. And it's also just a little bit easier on the fingers. And then we have this one, which is, I noticed that this other steel string guitar that I have is quite big. I guess it's the regular size, but I just felt my shoulder got quite strained from just holding it improperly, and probably because I'm new with the guitar, I'm not as relaxed as I should be. So I saw this, and apparently it's a little bit smaller, so okay, it's not in tune, but it's smaller, and hopefully it'll feel a little bit better if I sit and play for a long time. Well, that's what I could say, and that is true as well. But it is also the guitar that Ed Sheeran used at the start of his career, I guess. So there's also that.
Hold on tight, there's a storm standing in the eye. When it rains, it pours, and you sure know how to make
All right, so this is day 15 and we're at the halfway point of the 30-day practice. And right now I feel a little bit like I need more variety. I feel like I'm not putting that much conscious effort into actually practicing and learning new things. I'm just like I did that a lot at the start, and then now I'm sort of just repeating what I found at the start. So the few songs that I like sort of learned how to play pretty easily, those are the ones that I just keep repeating over and over, and I feel like I'm not progressing quite as fast as I should be, or maybe as I could, if I was to apply a little bit more of like deliberate practice to the whole effort. So that is sort of making me feel a little bit overwhelmed, because there are days where I don't feel like I'm progressing at all, where I'm almost like regressing. So certain songs that I try to play on certain days, I just feel like I'm not playing them even as good as I did a few days before.
So this is pretty typical of how I've felt with pretty much every goal that I've set lately. I get to a point pretty quickly where it feels a bit hopeless. Doubts just start to creep in. Is this even a good idea? Is this really what I want to be doing? And honestly, I even take it as far as, is this how I want to spend my life?
I've thought that this is because I'm afraid of like pursuing the wrong thing again. Very much like an existential crisis, because it's so easy to get stuck just pursuing the wrong thing. And lately that's been the fear for me, just a fear of ending up in a place and realizing that I missed out on life just pursuing a goal without meaning. And this has meant that I've been looking for a goal that is like completely fulfilling in the pursuit of it, in the way where the journey towards the actual goal is as fulfilling as reaching the actual goal. And that's also meant that each goal that I do set is very easy to question as soon as the pursuit of it isn't fully as enjoyable as maybe I would like it to be, or as it could be.
I think it's good to question if the pursuit of a goal aligns with the life that you want to live. But I also think it's very important to remember that the journey that is the most enjoyable can sometimes be the one that was the most difficult. And I think discipline is like the yin to the yang that is enjoyment. So I think the paradox of life is that if you want to live a life that you will enjoy, you need to do things that you don't enjoy. Sacrifice false enjoyment in the moment so that you can feel true enjoyment later. Like with pretty much everything, if there wasn't sound, you wouldn't even know silence. Enjoyment only exists in contrast to discomfort, and they even exist in an inverse relationship. Because if it's not cold and wet, the fire doesn't feel as warm. So we're closing in on day 30 right now, and I'm actually feeling a lot better. I feel like a lot of that is due to just the clarity of the goal. Like, it's so unquestionable that it kind of makes it easier, if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to think sometimes that doing something less would be easier, but I feel like this is actually easier, even though it would be kind of counterintuitive to think that doing it every day versus 3 times per week is easier. It is actually easier because it just means that I'm sort of in the mindset all the time of like, I know I need to do something today, so I'm going to pick up the guitar. Whereas if I don't do it every single day, then I feel like I'm not as much in the mindset. And so finally the day came. My 30 days was up, and it was time for the performance of a lifetime, which I decided to do in public because yes, this was a performance that the world needed to see. This level of improvement in only 30 days is completely unheard of, and scientists that I spoke with were baffled, dumbfounded even. So I know you'll be amazed, but just in case you don't remember where I started, here's a 10-second throwback to day 2. Now get out the tissues, as I'll move you to tears, and prepare to be mesmerized. Alright, so even though I was joking a little bit about how good I've gotten in these 30 days, I am super happy with the outcome of this video and just the goal in general. But now the question is, or the most important part of this video is, how would I do this differently if I was to start all over today? So what are the tips that I would recommend, or the mistakes that I made that I would recommend that you avoid? So the biggest thing that I would recommend, and the easiest thing, is like a super quick fix really, is to just make sure that you make it part of your goal to practice a new song every single day. Just make sure that you look for a new song every day. For me, I kind of got stuck with just practicing the same songs that I learned in like the first week or something. I think the difference would have felt a lot bigger, and my progress would have been more palpable, if that makes sense. So that's a big recommendation. And then another extra tip would be to find some sort of course. Doesn't have to be anything special, just find a course from someone that you like to listen to and that knows more than you, that's laid out a plan for how to learn how to play guitar. Because I think it's really important to just have some sort of structure that someone that knows more than you has laid out. And yeah, now it's been 50 days since I started, and I've actually kept practicing for the rest of these like 20 more days that it's gone since I finished the challenge. And I really feel like it has had carryover effects to other parts of my life, sort of how I was hoping that it would. And I feel a lot more disciplined in pretty much every other aspect of my life because of this goal. And so it really did reiterate and re-cement the idea that, or the value of progressing towards something, I guess. So that's something that I think, if you are feeling stuck in life or something right now, then I really recommend that you just start setting goals. Just anything that you feel slightly motivated to do, just set a goal and make sure that it's a SMART goal. I wish I had the time in this video to actually include how to set goals and a part about that, but it's already way longer than I want it to be. So I'll make a separate video on that in case you're interested. But yeah, look up SMART goals in the meantime and make sure that if you set goals, try to make them SMART goals. So that's my recommendation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.